Is Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with IRS. Welcome to my YouTube station. I don't do a lot of patting myself on the back. Just want to let you know I've been doing this for 51 years. I was an agent for a decade and I've worked thousands of cases, and I have a whole team of former IRS agents. I've been on the national news a lot. You can see all my stuff at 777irs.com. I always like to get into what you need to know as a former agent. I like to pull the curtain back so you can see what IRS does in certain cases. If you're kind of caught up with tax troubles and you owe IRS debt, it's crushing. The penalties and interest are really outside. I was a revenue officer, so I've worked probably 10,000 cases. I can't even imagine how many cases, in the thousands and thousands. And I just want to know if you have tax troubles and you owe IRS debt. I'm just trying to let you know briefly how IRS is going to resolve this case. First of all, if you owe a debt and you want to make a payment agreement, you can just go online and make a payment agreement with IRS. There's different type of payments, but you can go to irs.gov and set up a payment agreement if you want. But generally, what IRS will do if you owe debt, they're going to want a financial statement. If the case is in the service center, you'll know. They'll give you a 1-800 number. They're going to want a 433F. If the case is in the local office, they're going to look a lot deeper at your case because you have a revenue officer work your case. They're going to want a 433A. With that, they make a determination based on the financial statement you give them. That's why the preparation of the financial statement is so very important. You just don't want to pick up the phone, call them, and find out, gee, this is what it is. If you do not know what IRS is going to do when you give them that financial statement, you are absolutely crazy to call them without knowing what they're going to do with the information. You generally will be, I'd say over 50% of the time, you're going to wind up with a payment agreement that you are going to regret. You will regret calling them. So just know that IRS will close your case generally either by hardship, currently non-collectible, by a payment agreement, or by an offer and compromise and tax debt settlement. I taught the offer program at IRS. I am a national expert in the offer and compromise. Everyone wants to settle their debts. You have to make sure you're even eligible to settle your debt. Here's one base rule, cardinal rule. If your assets are more than the tax you owe, they're not going to settle the debt. If you could say, gee, if I liquidated everything, I have 150,000 and you owe 100,000 in tax, IRS is not going to settle the debt. So do you call yourself or don't you call yourself? Well, if you really don't have much and you're just getting by, chances are you can call yourself. You don't need anybody. IRS is probably going to put you in non-collectible. But if you owe a lot of money and you're self-employed and you make substantial income, you're not going to want to do that by yourself because you'll probably get crushed with a high payment agreement. What everyone has to realize listening to this video is IRS has a national standard, which means they're going to impose upon you half of the expenses you have by using the Department of Labor statistics in the county you live in. You don't want that to happen. Anyway, if you need me, I'm around. I'm a former IRS agent. I answer the phone. You don't speak to a salesman. Make sure all your tax returns are filed. Make sure if you're self-employed, you're making your estimate tax payments. It's very important. Give me a subscription. I really try to give you everything I know from the IRS perspective. Thank you.